President Obama is set for his first extended trip to sub-Saharan Africa as president. It will be a pricey journey with some surprising budget items. How about special ammo to pick off lions or elephants that might threaten the president while on safari? The Post's Carol Leonnig has been looking into the trip, joins us with some exclusive details. Good to see you.
And you too, Brooke.
56 vehicles, 14 limos, a special trauma center held offshore. Do we know what this whole thing's going to cost?
According to our sources and budget estimates, it looks like it could cost somewhere between $60 and $100 million. I can tell you a little bit more about why, but it's viewed inside the government as being one of the most expensive trips that Obama will take, primarily because of the nature of the places he's visiting.
There's not as much help from the host countries.
Correct. I mean, post 9/11, presidents generally and the Secret Service have tried to avoid relying on sort of local governments, particularly in third world countries, to provide kind of backup.
What else kind of is striking about this
What
trip?
I find sort of surprising about this trip, because really most people don't get this kind of classified information, is just what it takes. You know, a dozen what they call car planes, C-17s or C-9s, depending on what it is, to fly all of this equipment to Tanzania and Dar es Salaam and Cape Town and Johannesburg.
12 planes just with cars on them.
That's a minimum number, cargo planes. That's just, and then there is one other fascinating detail to me, and that is that usually in the United States we have a certain number of fighter jets that are available at any time to scramble over the president's airspace. In this case, in these countries, I'm told that we're going to have fighter jets sent over there to run 24/7 shifts, scrambling over the airspace, flying around the whole time he's there, in case of any strange plane that might get in his zone.
Bill Clinton did a somewhat similar trip when he was in office. It cost, what, $42 million? So why so much more? Maybe almost double, maybe more than double.
An inspector general went to look at Bill Clinton's trip, very similar kind of trip to some of the same countries, same kind of swing, Africa swing is what they call it. And he found that it cost about $42.7 million, not including what the Secret Service spent. That was primarily the Department of Defense. You can imagine why dollars are going to be higher from 1998 in a trip by Clinton to 2013 with President Obama.
There have been some complaints, mainly on the political right, that we're spending too much on these trips. Obama needs to, trim his sails. Is there any indication through your reporting that, this is more than it needs to be cost-wise?
I think in fairness, there are several presidents that have made this exact kind of trip. President Bush made this trip, President Clinton made this trip, Michelle Obama made a kind of trip like this a while back with her mother and the two daughters. And so it is not, unbelievable that the president would want to go to this place. It's really about timing.
In the era of the sequestered, the Secret Service is so strapped they can't do White House tours. How are they paying for this thing?
Well, my information is that, ultimately every president is going to be protected to the level the Secret Service and the Defense Department deems necessary. So it's not like it's a luxury, it's more like a minimum.
Geographically, Senegal and Tanzania are relatively close with relatively porous borders to less stable countries. We have the situation in Mali, which is more internal, but I wonder if we know anything about concerns.
It's certainly something where you want to make sure if you have to evacuate the president quickly because of some strange happenstance, you can. And trust me, the Secret Service is planning for every strange, bizarre happenstance that we can't even envision.
Okay, interesting details, a window on something that we normally don't know much about. Thanks, Carol.
Thank you, Brooke.